What if I told you ancient humans never voted, never held elections, and never had a single person barking orders at everyone else? And yet their groups survived for tens of thousands of years without falling apart. No presidents, no kings, no boss. Just a group of people figuring out who to follow. Based on something far more raw and real than any ballot box. Stay till the end, because the last part will completely change how you think about leadership and what it actually means to be in charge. So let's go back, way back. Imagine you are part of a small group of maybe 20 or 30 people living on the open savanna. There are no cities, no governments, no written laws. Every single day is a test. Where do we find food today? Is that animal safe to hunt? Is this path dangerous? Should we move camp or stay? Every one of these decisions could mean life or death for the entire group, so somebody has to step up. But how did they decide who that somebody was? Here is the first thing that will surprise you. Ancient human groups were not led by the strongest person, or the most aggressive person. Research into hunter-gatherer societies shows something completely different. Bullies and aggressive people were actually pushed down in the group, not lifted up. If someone tried to dominate others by force or intimidation, the rest of the group would unite against them. They would be mocked, ignored, and sometimes completely cut off from group resources. Ancient humans had a built-in system for keeping power-hungry individuals in check. They called it out every time. So if not the strongest, then who led? The answer is someone the group genuinely trusted. And trust back then was earned in very specific ways. The first way was knowledge. In a world without Google, the person who knew things was everything. Who knew where the water sources were during a drought, who remembered which plants caused sickness last season, who could read the sky and predict a storm, that person became invaluable. When the group needed to make a decision, they turned to whoever had the right knowledge for that specific situation. And here is the wild part. It wasn't always the same person. Different problems meant different leaders. One person might lead the hunt, another might lead the group's movement to a new camp. Another might settle disputes between members. Leadership in ancient times was not one job. It was many jobs, shared by many people, depending on what the moment needed. But knowledge alone wasn't enough. The second quality ancient groups looked for was generosity. This sounds strange at first, but think about it. In a small group where everyone depends on everyone else, a selfish person is a dangerous person. If a skilled hunter kept all the best meat for himself, the group would starve. If a knowledgeable elder hoarded information, people would die from ignorance. So the people who rose to lead were those who gave the most, the ones who shared food without being asked, the ones who helped the weakest members survive. Generosity was not just kindness. It was proof that a person could be trusted with the group's well-being. Now, here comes the layer that really gets interesting. Ancient humans also looked for something we might call calm under pressure. When a predator appeared, when food ran out, when two members of the group were in violent conflict. Panic was contagious. One panicking person could cause the entire group to make a deadly mistake. So, the person who stayed calm, who assessed the situation, who spoke clearly and acted decisively without losing their head, that person became the one everyone naturally turned to. Not because they were elected, not because they declared themselves in charge, simply because in that terrifying moment, they were the one who made everyone else feel like things were going to be okay. And that instinct, that pull toward the calm, knowledgeable, generous person in a crisis, that is ancient. That is wired deep into who we are as a species. But here is something that will really stick with you. Ancient leadership came with a cost. Leaders in hunter-gatherer societies were expected to work harder than everyone else, not less. They ate last, not first. They carried the heaviest burdens. They solved everyone's problems before their own. The moment a leader started taking more than they gave, the group noticed. And the moment the group noticed, that leader's influence disappeared. Not through a vote, not through a revolution, just through people quietly, collectively, stopping to listen to them. Think about that in comparison to today. We live in a world full of leaders who demand respect without earning it, who take more than they give, who rise through power and connections rather than through genuine trust. And yet something in us still recognizes the difference. Something ancient in us still knows what a real leader feels like. Someone calm, someone generous, someone who knows things and uses that knowledge to protect the people around them. Ancient humans didn't need elections to figure that out. They just needed to survive together. And in doing that, they discovered something about leadership that we are still trying to remember today. The best leaders were never the loudest voice in the room. They were the most trusted one,